Hello, welcome to another episode of The End of the Search. This one I call it, What do I mean by trust? This is a very interesting topic because we have to remember that we're never talking about the person. There is no person. There is just life, what is. And when we talk about trust, the tendency is to think that you person need to trust. And if that would be the case, what would you need to be to who or what you need to trust? And technically speaking, you would have to trust yourself because you are the self. See? Now, trusting has nothing to do with specifics. In other words, I'm not saying I trust life that life is gonna do this for me. No, I trust life because I am life, and because I trust life, or there is trust in life, because there's no I person who trusts anything, but within the limitations of language, when there is trust in life, there's a knowing that whatever is happening is perfectly. There's nothing wrong with anything. I am okay with that, and I can rest in peace. You see? I rest in peace knowing that life is taking care of life itself, and I am life. But when I believe that I'm an individual, now I hope that life takes care of whatever has to in order to benefit me as an individual. But that idea that I am this person separate from everything is the cause of all fear, concern, anxiety, worry. But if I know who I am or what I am, then life unfolds. I don't know what's going to happen with this character at any time, but it doesn't matter because there's a recognition that I am. And then life is seen like a movie that is being played that has no effect on who or what I am. The movie screen doesn't care what kind of movie is projected onto it because it knows that it's screen. And what a screen does, screening, what can I tell you? Nothing else. So we're here observing life unfolding, and there's not a me who's observing it. It's just that what seems to be happening. The act of seeing, cognizing everything is just what happens. But when it's not taken as a personal experience, then it's just what is unfolding. And we're pointing to that. We're pointing to the obvious. When you wake up in the morning, seeing happens before the mind engages. When the mind engages, that's when we think that I am seeing because I am interpreting, but in reality, seeing happens. I'm just simply experience itself of the seeing, and then the interpretation of things is used for practical reasons. In other words, practical reason says that I see this computer over there, so I can go over there to do whatever I need to do, and it seems as though I know that this is a door, so I have to walk through it and all that stuff. That's fine. That is just basically practical. And if I need to go to work, I know how to turn the car on. I know what a car is. I know where to go for the car. I know how to get in. I see, but these are things that happens within the appearance that has no effect on me on a psychological level, because I know that nothing that happens can have an effect on me because I'm aware that I'm always reacting to an interpretation. I'm always reacting to a story of the mind. But if I can see the story as such, then everything happens, and there's not the psychological conditioning interfering with what happens. You see? Then life simply happens. And some things are enjoyed, and some things you may say, well, it's not exactly my cup of tea, but everything is seen as such, and there's not a judgment in regards to this should be or this shouldn't be. Life is, and it's unfolding, and if it's happening, it means that is what is supposed to happen. See, there's no fighting with life. There's no resistance at all, and then once again relax, because there's this trust in life. You see, there's a complete surrender to life as it happens. And that's what I mean by trust. We're trusting life because we're resting in that trust. But again, it's not a personal thing. I am not trusting life. I'm just relaxing in the trust that is authentically when I know who I am. You see? If I know that I am, not an individual, but I simply am, trusting is organic. Life happens. The trees, because they don't have a brain, they're not against to what's happening, whether it's a storm, whether it's an earthquake, whether it's anything. Trees is just treeing, so to speak, and that's it. So we have the capacity to be able to have that experience if we don't believe the psychological content of the mind. You see? And that's the invitation here, to really rest in that space, in that which is this experience, this ever-present, that is not even in time and space, but we don't know what kind of words can I use. When you trust in that, then you live happily. You see, you live at peace. And yes, all sorts of thoughts can come up, all sensations can come up, feelings or experiences, but none of that distract me from what I am. And because I know what I am trusting myself, self, capital S, because I am the self. Because I am, you are. This is what is being recognized here. Now, in words may sound wonderful, but in the end, you have to put it to the test to see that it is. That life is. And if you look back, you see how everything has been unfolded perfectly, and there's nothing out of order. Only when the mind interprets things and they said, this shouldn't have been like this should be like that, and that's when we think that life made a mistake. Why I'm not living the life that I want to live? Because in reality, we're conditioned, and that condition is what it's speaking. It's not the self speaking in a sense. It's the conditioning speaking. This is what I want. This is what I desire. This is how life should be. But if you drop all of that, it's not you're becoming a martyr. Martyr? I think that's the word. I know. It's not becoming a cold as ice, and you don't care or anything. No. You're still living life, but with a sense of ease. You see? And then you move through life, and you see how life is unfolding, and you do what you find yourself doing according to the space where we're speaking from. Always remembering that even though I may say these words, you will end up acting according to your destiny, put it this way. Because in the end, not being the doer, I'm not the one who chooses to go left or go right. That choice is made through me. But without getting into an argument with that, that's what I did a video. It's called Do We Have Free Will? It's the second video of the series. The link is in the description in case this is the first video you've seen of mine, or you're not familiar with it. Go to that video so I go in detail and explain why this idea of free will is an illusion. Okay. However, if life lead you to listen to this information, well, act as if you can make the choice of going left or right, but without any resistance. What do I mean by that? When I see that it seems that if I have a choice to go in one direction, I see myself acting as if I can go in that direction, with the difference that if for some reason life asks me to go in a different one or move me in a different one, I don't attach myself to the original seeming decision. You see? That's when people usually get caught. So that means I cannot desire something or enjoy something. I said, you can enjoy everything, but when you really come to this recognition, most of desires, they just drop on their own. And when a desire comes through, there's not an attachment to it, It's just a simple preference. Hey, I would like to do this, and I find myself doing this, or I may not find myself doing this, I don't know. But either way, because there's no attachment, there's no concern about it, I'm at peace with what is. And then one of two things may happen. I either find myself doing that, or I may not find myself doing that. But either way, I am fine, I'm okay, because I trust, you see, because I know who I am. Now the world of appearances is not a distraction. We can enjoy the experience We can do the things that we seem to love doing within the world of experience, but no attachment to anything. Everything happens, life unfolds, and I am resting in the peace that I am. You see, because I trust, or you say, or I should say, because there is a trust in life. And remember, these videos are not for the individual. It's a reminder that there's no such thing as an individual. But because it appears as if I am an individual, then we're dealing with the psychological content that makes the life of the seeming individual miserable, so that finally you can rest in the peace, in the happiness that you are. And the end of the search is because there's no such thing as an individual. Therefore, who would be searching? There's no need to search and to find yourself, because you already are. Right now, you cannot not be. And this is what we're pointing to here. See? Right now, you cannot deny your experience. Not your experience, but again, language is a limitation, but the experience of being present, that cannot be denied. That's what you are, always. That never changes. That is constant. You see? Just pure awareness. And not even that, but again, what words can I use? It's just being, pure being. Right now, can you not be? Don't identify with the mind, with the contents and everything. Just right now, can you not be? And you know that intuitively you would have to say, yeah, I cannot not be because I am. Yes. The problem is you're thinking you are something. That's where the problem comes in. The mind says, I am a person. I am a person. I am seeing. I am hearing. But in reality, seeing is happening without your consent. Hearing happens without your consent, assuming that you don't have any particular problem with any of those senses. Tasting is happening without your consent. Smelling is happening without your consent. Feeling is happening without your consent. See, it's all happening. It's just the happening of life, you see. But when the mind gets in the way, which is thought, also thought is happening without your concern. Until the mind takes the thought and uses it to interpret, and then it begins to come with a conclusion that says, seeing is happening, mind is interpreting what is seen, and because I think I am the one interpreting, I think that I'm the one seeing. You see? But it's very subtle. It's very, very subtle. It's just life unfolding. You see? And when that becomes crystal clear, when we can see the obviousness, of course, you know, right now hearing is happening, but I am not the one hearing until I bring my attention to hearing and I say I'm hearing. But no, while I'm hearing, notice that seeing happens. The mind, actually, not the mind, but everything is being recognized, you see? Everything is being taken in, and that's it. That's just life itself. Until the mind comes to with the thought I, and then I believe I'm the center point, and I am the one seeing, I am the one hearing, I am the one sensing, I'm the one tasting. But remember this, go back to the analogy of the dream. When you're in bed, all that there is you in bed, and that's it. And then when you're dreaming, somehow psychologically what the mind does is that it uses a point of reference which calls me, and from that point of reference says, I am talking to this person in the dream, but I'm not aware that it's a dream. I think it's reality. But I still say I am talking to this person. I am seeing that. But in reality, there's no one I seeing anything. There's no an I talking to anyone here. There's only the mind, in which everything seems to appear, and the mind creates or projects a self-center, a false center. A false center from which it thinks that it's perceiving something, but in reality all that there is mind, just mind, that's it, nothing else. And the world of illusion is a projection, and the mind all of a sudden projects itself into the dream. It cannot see itself. This is a funny thing. The mind cannot see itself, but it assumes that it's a self that can see something else. You see? Well, same in here. The eye cannot see itself, but it assumes, because of the mind is interpreting, it assumes that there's something that is called I that is seen. But in reality, all that there is seen. And this is not esoteric, and this is not theoretical, this is pure practical. When the mind is not engaged in the interpretation, seeing happens and is impersonal. Hearing happens and is impersonal. Feeling happens and is impersonal. Get the mind out of the way, get all the interpretation out of the way, and all that there is seeing, hearing, feeling, and nothing else. But there's not an I who can take authorships, who can claim to be the one that is doing any of those things. You see? Because when people say, I'm the one seeing, I'm the one thinking, I'm the one hearing, and I'm saying, okay, these are three seeming activities, but how many millions or trillions of activities are happening right now that you are not in charge of and you're not even concerned of? Not even concerned, not even aware of. Are you aware of the blood going through your bloodstreams right now? Are you aware of the heart beating, unless I bring your attention there, but you're not doing it? That's one thing for sure. Beyond the shadow of doubt, you are not making your heart beat. And in that sense, I could say, are you the one thinking? And you realize that thoughts happen, you see? The mind is the one that interprets all of that. But in reality, you know what the mind is? In essence, the mind is a thought itself. The mind is not even a real thing. It's not a thing that is happening in the brain. The mind is simply a thought that is used to interpret it, you see? To give meaning to. But again, get the conceptual thinking out of the way, get the mind out of the way, and tell me what's going on. And without the interpretation of the mind, what is going on is just life doing what life does. And you are life. Get the mind out of the way, and now you're no longer the I that is interpreting. You are life itself, and that's it. This is what we're pointing to. And once that is clear, is there a need to search for anything? Do you need to search to find out who you are? Do you need to do anything to get somewhere in a sense of becoming something? You are already all there is. And this is very, very simple. So what we're doing here is that we're not trying to use this video so hopefully in the future you get to know who you are. No, we're pointing to the obvious. The only thing that we can see is what I am not. And that's when you need to do the investigation. The investigation is not for you to get somewhere. The investigation is you can see the false as false. That's the only reason why we do so. We believe so strongly in our sense of identity that has to be questioned. When that is questioned, then the realization is that I have always been. You see? It's not like in the future I'm going to go, oh, I got it, or no. There's not going to be anyone saying I got it. There's no one. That's the point. You see? It's realizing that life is. And this is something we cannot talk about. You have to, again, we can point to the falseness so you can see that how everything is just an interpretation. When that is set aside, what is left is what is. And then I usually say, I don't go out into the world talking about it. It makes no sense whatsoever, because what would be the point? However, if life presents a scenario in which someone asks a question about it and I do find myself talking about it, I know that it is not me responding or talking about it. It's just simply life through the instrument expressing in that way. Right now, life through this instrument is expressing in a way that it seems that is sharing a message, but to who? To no one. This is just what seems to be happening through this instrument. When I feel like playing music, then the activity is to pick up the guitar and play music. If I feel like writing a book, the activity is to sit behind the computer and write a book. If the feel or the I don't know, the impulse is to go take a walk, the instrument takes a walk. You see? But there's a recognition that is just what happens. It's not something that I make happen. You see? And if the time comes that this instrument is no longer needed, well, life will make it disappear. However, right now it seems as though life is using this instrument for whatever the reason is. And I am not in conflict with any of it because I know who I am. And this is what these videos are pointing to. Knowing who I am. Knowing that I am. Not even a who. Not even a what. You see? I am. You see, this is the pointing right now, and this is undeniable. Can you right now, can you negate your experience as just being right now? Don't let the mind get in the way trying to understand any of this. I'm just simply saying, let's go to what is practical. Let's go to what is obvious right now, right this moment. You know, can you not be? You see, beingness is all there is. Well, when there's trust in beingness, all the worries, all the concerns, all the problems immediately falls by the wayside. They fall by it. You know why? Because life is. Life takes care of life. Life will move the instrument to do or not to do if something has to be done or if something doesn't have to be done. The issue either resolve itself, or maybe the instrument may be inspired to do something that may seem to be a cause for the resolution of that. But in the end, because there's an awareness, there's an understanding, there's clarity that life is, then I just see life unfolding. That's it. And also, I don't know why life has me doing this. I don't know why life has me waking up in the morning. I have no idea. All I know is that life happens, it all happens, and there's a trust in life, because that is what I am. That is what you are. This is all that there is. Okay, well, this is what the instrument was used for, to share this information, whatever, you know, this inspiration. I hope it served. And as always, may peace permeate the mind so that love can be extended.